The year was 2157, and humanity had finally reached beyond their solar system. After decades of hard work, humans had built small colonies on 3 planets around nearby stars. Earth was proud of these achievements. The population watched with hope as brave men and women traveled to new worlds. Commander Allison Wright stood on the bridge of the UES Curiosity, looking at the strange ship on the main screen. It was 3 times bigger than her vessel, with odd angles that no human would design. This was it, first contact with an alien civilization. After years of searching, humanity had found the Zorthani Empire. "Send the greeting message again," she told her communications officer, Jack Miller. Her voice was steady despite her racing heart. Miller nodded. "Sending now, Commander. All standard peaceful contact protocols running." The Zorthani ship hung in space, silent and still. The Curiosity had discovered it near the edge of human-explored space 2 days ago. Since then, Wright and her crew had been trying to establish communication using every method they knew. "They're responding," Miller said suddenly. The screen flickered and showed an alien face. The creature had 4 eyes set wide apart on a flat, greenish face. Its mouth was small and circular with no visible teeth. 2 antennae twitched above its head. When it spoke, the ship's computer translated its clicks and whistles into English. "Human vessel, you have entered space claimed by the Zorthani Empire. State your purpose immediately." Wright stepped forward. "I am Commander Allison Wright of the United Earth Ship Curiosity. We are explorers and wish to establish peaceful relations with your people. We propose a meeting to discuss cultural exchange and possibly trade." The alien's 4 eyes blinked in an uneven pattern. "I am Border Officer Krek of the Zorthani Empire. We are aware of your species' recent expansion. The High Command will consider your request." The screen went dark. "That went well," said Lieutenant Steve Garcia from the science station. "At least they didn't shoot at us." Wright wasn't so sure. Something about the alien's body language bothered her, but she couldn't put her finger on what it was. 3 hours later, the Zorthani ship contacted them again. This time, a different alien appeared on screen. It wore elaborate blue coverings and had small metallic objects hanging from its antennae. "I am Ambassador Grekthal of the Zorthani Empire," it announced. "Your request for contact has been processed. The High Command has authorized preliminary discussions." Wright smiled. "We are honored, Ambassador. Perhaps we could meet in person to share information about our cultures. On Earth, we often discuss matters over dinner as a sign of friendship." Kidu. Reaction was immediate and unexpected. The ambassador's body stiffened. Its antennae went completely still. All 4 eyes widened at once. "You invite us to dinner?" The translation came through, but the alien's voice had changed tone. "Yes," Wright continued, not noticing the shift. "It's a human custom to build relationships while sharing food. We would be happy to host you aboard our vessel or come to yours, whichever makes you more comfortable." The screen went dark again without any response. "What just happened?" Wright asked, looking around the bridge. Captain Daniel Foster, head of the ship's security team, stepped forward with a concerned expression. "Commander, something's wrong. The alien's reaction changed completely when you mentioned dinner." Before Wright could respond, alarms sounded across the bridge. "The Zorthani ship is powering up weapons," Miller shouted. "They're targeting us." "Shields up," Wright ordered. "No offensive moves. Send emergency messages to Earth about the situation." Foster moved to Wright's side. "Commander, we should prepare to jump out of here." The ship rocked as energy blasts hit their shields. "Why are they attacking us?" Wright asked. "We only offered to share a meal." Miller was monitoring communications. "Commander, they're broadcasting on all frequencies. It's a warning to their empire about humans." The main screen came back on, showing Ambassador Grekthal. The alien looked agitated with rapidly moving antennae. "Humans of Earth, you have revealed your true nature with your barbaric invitation. The Zorthani Empire formally designates your species as a potential threat. You will restrict your expansion immediately or face consequences." The message ended. The Zorthani ship fired again, then jumped away, disappearing into faster-than-light travel. "What just happened?" Wright asked again. staring at the empty space where the alien ship had been. 3 days later, the UES Curiosity limped back to the nearest human outpost. The Zorthani attack had damaged their engines, but the crew had managed to make repairs. As soon as they were in range, urgent messages from Earth Command flooded in. 2 unmanned research stations at the edge of human space had been destroyed. The Zorthani had left messages claiming the destruction was a warning to humanity. The United Earth Council called an emergency meeting. Commander Wright joined via video link from the outpost, explaining everything that had happened. "I don't understand," said Council President Laura Bennett. "All you did was invite them to dinner. How could that be seen as a threat?" Dr. Nancy Peterson, a xenobiologist working at Luna Base, requested permission to speak. "I've been studying the footage of the Zorthani. Their reaction seems strongest when Commander Wright mentioned sharing information over meals. There's something about our eating habits that disturbs them." Foster, who had studied the aliens' body language, agreed. "They're not just cautious about us, they're terrified of something. The way their posture changed when dinner was mentioned, it was pure fear." Lieutenant Catherine Martinez, a cultural specialist with the Diplomatic Corps, had been analyzing Zorthani transmissions that human outposts had picked up over the past few months. "I think I have a theory," she said. "From what we can tell, all Zorthani species are strict herbivores with very private eating habits. They never eat in groups. It's like a bathroom function for humans, totally private. But more importantly, they might have misunderstood what we meant by dinner invitation." "What do you mean?" Wright asked. Martinez looked troubled. "They might think we were inviting them to be dinner, not to have dinner with us." The council chamber went silent as the implications became clear. "Are you saying they think we're cannibals?" President Bennett finally asked. "Not exactly," Martinez replied. "But they might believe we're predators who hunt and eat other sentient beings. That would explain their extreme reaction." Foster nodded slowly. "That makes sense. They're not angry with us. They're terrified of us." The council debated what to do next. Some argued for a military response to the destroyed outposts. Others wanted to pull back all human ships to avoid further conflict. Wright listened to the arguments, then spoke up. "I think we need to clear up this misunderstanding before it leads to war. If they're afraid we want to eat them, we need to show them that's not true." "How do we do that?" asked Bennett. Wright thought for a moment. "We need to show them what a human dinner actually is. Maybe seeing our eating habits would help them understand we're not the monsters they think we are." The council looked doubtful, but with no better ideas and the threat of interstellar war looming, they agreed to try Wright's approach. No one realized yet that this simple plan would completely change humanity's place in the galaxy. The next 2 weeks were tense for Earth and its colonies. The Zorthani Empire had positioned 3 large battleships near the Neptune outpost. They sent messages daily to the United Earth Council demanding that humans stop all space exploration. They called humans dangerous predators who should stay in their own solar system. Dr. Nancy Peterson worked day and night at Luna Base, studying everything they knew about the Zorthani. She gathered all the footage from the first contact and analyzed the aliens' bodies and reactions. "Look at this," she said to her team one morning. She pointed to a close-up image of Ambassador Grechthal's face. "See how the mouth is shaped? It's perfect for grinding plants. There are no sharp teeth at all. And the eyes are set wide apart like many plant-eating animals on Earth." Her assistant, Sam, nodded. "So they really are complete herbivores." "Yes, but it's more than that," Peterson continued. "Their digestive system probably can't handle animal protein at all. I bet it would be poisonous to them." On Earth, Lieutenant Catherine Martinez led a team studying the Zorthani broadcasts they had intercepted. They learned that the Empire included 7 different alien species, all with similar plant-eating biology. "This is interesting," Martinez told Captain Foster during a video meeting. "In all their public broadcasts, no one ever eats together. Food is always consumed alone, in private rooms. There's not a single image of communal eating in any of their cultural programs." Foster rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "So when Commander Wright mentioned dining together, it wasn't just strange to them," Martinez finished. "It was probably disgusting, or terrifying, like if someone invited you to watch them use the bathroom. Martinez's team made another important discovery the next day. They found records of the Zorthani encountering two other species in their 1,000-year history of space travel. Both species were omnivores like humans, eating both plants and meat. In both cases, the Zorthani had labeled them as aggressive, predators, and forced them to stay in their home systems. They have a deep fear of meat eaters, Martinez explained to the council, and when Commander Wright invited them to dinner, they probably thought she was inviting them to be eaten, not to eat with us. President Bennett looked troubled. So they think we want to eat them. How do we fix this misunderstanding before it leads to war? Martinez and Peterson had been working on a plan. Peterson spoke first. We think we should send them detailed information about human eating habits. Show them that we eat both plants and animals, but never sentient beings. And, most importantly, show them that eating together is a social bonding activity for humans, not a threat, Martinez added. We should demonstrate that our dinner invitation was meant as a peace offering, not a threat. And how do we do that? Bennett asked. We invite them to dinner again, Martinez said. But this time, we show them exactly what that means. The council members looked shocked. You want to invite them to dinner again? After what happened last time? Council member Bill Rogers asked. Yes, Martinez said firmly, but we'll broadcast the entire process, show them how we prepare food, what we eat, and most importantly, that we eat alongside our guests, not our guests themselves. There was much debate, but eventually the council agreed it was worth trying. The alternative might be war with a vast alien empire. Commander Wright was asked to send another message to the Zorthani. This time her communication included detailed videos of human meals being prepared and shared. The message explained that humans eat together as a form of social bonding and peaceful negotiation. It showed humans eating various foods, both plant and animal-based, but emphasized that humans never ate intelligent beings. The message ended with a new invitation. We respectfully invite Zorthani representatives to observe a human meal. We will prepare food from your world for you and food from our world for us. We will share the experience of eating in the same space, as is our custom when forming new friendships. The response was immediate. The Zorthani battleships moved, closer to the Neptune outpost. Their supreme commander, a tall alien named Voxhar, sent a message calling the invitation an unprecedented act of barbarity. They still don't understand, Wright told Foster after watching the response. They think we're being more aggressive, not less. Or maybe they're just more scared, Foster suggested. Fear often looks like anger. The situation got worse when the Zorthani intercepted a regular food shipment heading to the human colony on Proxima b. The shipment contained both plant seeds and frozen meat. The aliens sent an empire-wide alert claiming humans were mobilizing for a hunting campaign. 3 days later, a Zorthani scout ship fired on a human transport carrying farming equipment and plant seeds to the Europa colony. The transport was damaged but managed to escape. This is getting out of hand, President Bennett said at an emergency council meeting. They're interpreting everything we do as a threat. Dr. Paul Jackson, a famous chef who had studied space farming, came forward with a new idea. Let's broadcast a human dinner live, he suggested. Not just to their diplomats, but to their entire civilization. Let them see exactly what happens when humans eat together. The council, desperate for solutions, approved the plan. A special space station in neutral territory was converted into a giant kitchen and dining area. The station had glass walls, so the Zorthani could see everything that happened inside. Commander Wright sent a new invitation to the entire Zorthani Empire. This one included a full explanation of the event. Humans would prepare and eat food from Earth. Separate plant-based food from Zorthani worlds would be available for any brave Zorthani who wanted to attend. The entire event would be broadcast live on all channels. For 5 days, there was no response. The human team waited nervously at the space station. Some council members wanted to cancel the event, fearing it would only make things worse. Then, just as they were about to give up, a small Zorthani ship approached the station. Inside was a single volunteer, Dr. Zeal, a Zorthani scientist known for his brave research. He arrived wearing a full protective suit, clearly terrified, but determined. "I have come to observe your eating ritual," he told Wright when he came aboard. His voice shook slightly, even through the translation system. "I will document this practice for scientific understanding." Wright nodded respectfully. "Thank you for your courage, Dr. Zeal. I promise you will be safe here. We only wish to show you that sharing a meal is a peaceful act for humans." Dr. Zeal's 4 eyes blinked nervously. "I have studied your transmissions. You claim to consume other life forms but not sentient beings. This concept is difficult for many in the Empire to believe." Chef Jackson stepped forward with a warm smile. "Then let us show you exactly what we mean. The broadcast will begin in 1 hour. The most important dinner in human history was about to begin, and billions of beings across 2 civilizations would be watching." The space station kitchen buzzed with activity as Chef Paul Jackson and his team prepared for the most important meal in human history. Glass walls let Dr. Zeal watch everything from a safe distance. The nervous Zorthani scientist stood in his protective suit, all 4 eyes wide with a mix of fear and curiosity. "We will show each ingredient before we use it," Jackson explained, holding up a carrot. "This is a root vegetable from Earth called a carrot. Humans eat many plant foods, just like the Zorthani." Dr. Zeal made notes on a small device. His antennae twitched with interest. Jackson then showed a package of beef. "This is meat from an animal called a cow. It is not a thinking being like humans or Zorthani. We raise these animals for food." Dr. Zeal stepped back slightly, his body stiffening. "I understand this makes you uncomfortable," Jackson said gently. "For Zorthani, eating any animal may seem wrong, but I want to be honest about what humans eat." Commander Wright watched from nearby. The broadcast was going to millions of Zorthani homes and billions of human homes too. Everything needed to go perfectly. "How's he doing?" Captain Foster asked, coming to stand beside her. "Better than expected," Wright answered. "He hasn't run away yet." Jackson continued his demonstration, showing how humans cook different foods. He explained each step clearly. His team prepared salads, bread, roasted vegetables, and grilled beef. "Now we will set the table," Jackson announced. "In human culture, eating together is a social event where we build trust and friendship." Dr. Zeal watched as the humans placed dishes, glasses, and utensils on a large table. Jackson explained the purpose of each item. "Forks and knives are for eating, not for weapons," he said clearly, demonstrating how to cut food. "Sharing a meal means sharing peace." Finally, it was time to eat. Jackson had prepared a special meal for Dr. Zeal using plants from his home world that humans had grown on the space station. "Please join us if you feel comfortable," Wright invited the alien scientist. There was a tense moment when no one knew what Dr. Zeal would do. Then slowly he approached the table. He kept his protective suit on but opened a small section near his mouth that allowed him to eat. The humans sat down and began their meal. They talked quietly, showing normal dinner conversation. Jackson explained each dish as they ate it. When he cut the beef, he did it carefully, explaining again that humans never eat intelligent beings. "We have strict rules about what animals can be used for food," he told Dr. Zeal. "We would never harm a thinking being for food. That would be deeply wrong to us." Dr. Zeal watched them eat for several minutes. Then, very carefully, he tried a small piece of his own food. "You eat together as a group," he said. His voice sounded surprised through the translator. "This is a bonding ritual for your species?" "Yes," Wright answered. "On Earth, sharing food has been a way to build trust for thousands of years. When we invite someone to dinner, we are saying we trust them enough to share this important time." Dr. Zeal's antennae moved in what seemed like a thoughtful pattern. "And the invitation to dinner means to share food together, not to consume the guest?" Wright nodded. "Exactly. When I invited your ambassador to dinner, I meant we would each eat our own food side by side as friends." "This changes much," Dr. Zeal said. "In our history, we have encountered only 2 other omnivore species. Both were aggressive and territorial. We assumed all meat eaters would be dangerous. The meal continued for almost 2 hours. Dr. Zeal asked many questions about human eating habits, farming, and food preparation. The humans answered honestly, even when the questions seemed strange. Do humans hunt living things for sport? Dr. Zeal asked at one point. Some humans do hunt animals, Foster answered. But there are strict rules about what can be hunted, how many, and when. Most humans today get meat from farm animals raised for food. Dr. Zeal seemed troubled by this answer, but he continued to listen and learn. By the end of the meal, the Zorthani scientist had relaxed noticeably. He even removed his protective gloves to better handle his eating tools. I must report that my initial fears were incorrect, he said, as the meal ended. The human eating ritual is not a threat display as we thought. It appears to be a genuine, social bonding activity. Wright smiled. Thank you for your bravery in coming here today, Dr. Zeal. You have done a great service for both our peoples. After the broadcast ended, Dr. Zeal asked to speak privately with the human team. What you have shown today will cause much debate in the Empire, he said. Many will not believe it. Some will say it was a trick. What can we do to help them? Understand? Wright asked. Allow me to stay longer, Zeal suggested. I wish to observe more human meals and behaviors. With more data, I can better explain your species to my people. The humans agreed happily. Dr. Zeal's extended visit would last 2 weeks. During that time, he observed many human activities, not just eating. He learned about human music, art, games, and work. Each day he seemed less afraid. Your species is complex, he told Wright one evening. You can be gentle and kind, even though you are also predators. This is new information for the Zorthani. On the 10th day of Zeal's visit, surprising news arrived from the Zorthani Empire. The battleships near Neptune had moved back. Ambassador Grechthal requested to speak with the United Earth Council. Dr. Zeal's reports have caused the High Command to reconsider their position on humans, Grechthal said when the call connected. We wish to learn more about your species before making final judgments. President Bennett looked relieved. We welcome this chance to build understanding between our peoples. Grechthal still seemed nervous but less hostile than before. Dr. Zeal reports that humans raise animals for food but do not hunt intelligent beings. Is this truly your practice? Yes, Bennett confirmed. We would never harm a thinking species. That would be deeply wrong by our own moral standards. The ambassador's antennae twitched. This concept is difficult for many Zorthani to accept, but Dr. Zeal's evidence is compelling. After the call ended, Wright found Dr. Zeal watching Earth, videos about family meals. You have helped prevent a war, Doctor, she told him. Zeal turned his 4 eyes toward her. Perhaps, but there is still much fear to overcome. Not all my people will change their minds so easily. But it's a start, Wright said. Yes, Zeal agreed. It is a start, and it began with a dinner invitation. The next day, news came that the Zorthani Supreme Commander had called for a scientific study of humans, rather than military action. The immediate threat of war was over, though the road to true peace would be long. Dr. Zeal prepared to return, home with hours of videos and pages of notes. Before he left, Chef Jackson prepared one final meal. This time, 6 other brave Zorthani scientists joined through video link, watching carefully as humans and Zeal shared food together. When I return, Zeal said, I will recommend a true cultural exchange program. Perhaps someday we can even share meals together regularly. Wright smiled. I would like that very much. The dinner that humans had feared might lead to war was now becoming the first step toward peace. 1 month after Dr. Zeal's return to the Zorthani Empire, the situation between humans and aliens remained tense but improving. The battleships had moved farther from human space. Small trade agreements were being discussed. Yet many Zorthani still feared humans. Dr. Zeal had become famous throughout the Empire. His detailed reports about human behavior were viewed billions of times. He appeared on Zorthani news programs explaining that humans were omnivores, but not the mindless predators many feared. They consume both plant and animal matter, he explained to a popular science program, but they follow strict rules about what animals can be used for food. They never eat thinking beings. Still, many Zorthani remained unconvinced. Old fears were hard to overcome. Some political leaders called Dr. Zeal a traitor who had been tricked by the humans. On Earth, Lieutenant Catherine Martinez had been promoted to director of the new cultural exchange program. Her job was to build better understanding between humans and aliens. She worked closely with Dr. Peterson from Luna Base to develop new ways to communicate with the Zorthani. The dinner demonstration helped, Martinez told Commander Wright during a video meeting. But we need to do more. Many Zorthani still don't trust us. Wright nodded. Dr. Zeal told me the same thing before he left. What do you suggest? Martinez had a bold plan. We should invite a group of Zorthani scientists to visit Earth. Let them see our world, our farms, our kitchens. Complete transparency is our best approach. Will they agree to come? Wright asked. Most of them are still afraid of us. Dr. Zeal says he can find volunteers, Martinez replied. Brave scientists who want to learn the truth. The United Earth Council approved the plan. An official invitation was sent to the Zorthani High Command, requesting permission for a scientific delegation to visit Earth for 30 days. For 2 weeks, there was no response. Then Ambassador Greg Thal sent a message saying the High Command was considering the request. Meanwhile, a new problem arose. A group of human farmers on the colony world Proxima B had harvested their first successful meat animals. They sent images back to Earth showing the farm and the animals. The images leaked to Zorthani networks. Suddenly, the fragile trust that had been building collapsed. Supreme Commander Voxhar issued a statement calling the farm proof of human hunting expansion. 2 battleships moved back toward human space. This is a disaster, President Bennett said during an emergency meeting. They don't understand what farming is. Dr. Peterson looked thoughtful. They see any use of animals for food as hunting. They don't understand the difference between wild animals and farm animals. Ambassador Grechthal sent a formal complaint, demanding that humans stop expanding their hunting grounds to new worlds. Martinez knew they needed to act quickly. She asked Dr. Zeal for help explaining the situation to his people. I will try, Zeal responded. But you must understand that for my people, all animal consumption seems barbaric. The idea of raising animals just to eat them might seem even worse than hunting to some Zorthani. Martinez realized they needed a different approach. What if we show them that humans can live entirely on plant food if we choose to? She quickly organized a new broadcast. This time, they showed humans preparing and eating completely vegetarian meals. Chef Jackson demonstrated dozens of plant-based dishes from Earth cultures that traditionally ate no meat. Many humans choose not to eat any animal products. Jackson explained during the broadcast. We call them vegans or vegetarians. They live healthy lives eating only plants. Dr. Zeal helped translate the concepts. He explained that humans were flexible in their eating habits, unlike Zorthani, who could only digest plants. The broadcast had a positive effect. Many Zorthani were surprised to learn that humans could choose not to eat meat. Supreme Commander Voxhar ordered the battleships to hold their position rather than advance further. Finally, 3 weeks after the initial invitation, the Zorthani High Command agreed to send a small scientific team to Earth. The team would include Dr. Zeal and 5 other researchers. They would stay for 30 days at a special facility built for them in Switzerland. The location was chosen because of its natural beauty and distance from large animal farming operations. The day the Zorthani ship landed on Earth was historic. It was the first time the aliens had set foot on human soil. The 6 scientists wore less restrictive protective suits than Dr. Zeal had worn during the dinner demonstration. They still covered their bodies completely but could move more freely. Martinez greeted them at the landing pad. Welcome to Earth. We are honored by your bravery in coming here. Dr. Zeal stepped forward. We come seeking knowledge and understanding. My colleagues are still cautious, but they are open to learning. One of the other scientists, introduced as Professor Larn, spoke next. We have reviewed Dr. Zeal's data. It is surprising. We wish to verify his findings ourselves. Of course, Martinez said. You will have full access to observe human life. with safety precautions for your comfort. We have nothing to hide. The Zorthani team spent their first week at the Switzerland facility, slowly adjusting to Earth's gravity and atmosphere. They took short trips to nearby forests and lakes, studying Earth's plant life with great interest. In the second week, they began visiting towns and cities. Humans had been informed about the visitors and were careful not to do anything that might frighten them. Restaurants temporarily removed meat dishes from their visible menus when the aliens were touring. Professor Larn was especially interested in human agriculture. "You grow both plants and animals for food," he observed during a visit to a small farm. "This is very different from our worlds where we only grow plants." The farmer, Rose Wilson, nodded. "Yes, but we treat our animals with care while they're alive. We make sure they don't suffer." Larn's antennae twitched in what humans now recognized as a sign of deep thought. This concept of ethical animal raising is unknown among the Zorthani. To us, using any animal for food seems wrong. "I understand," Wilson said. "Many humans feel the same way. That's why some choose to eat only plants." During the third week, something unexpected happened. A Zorthani news team requested permission to join the scientists on Earth. They wanted to broadcast daily reports about human civilization directly to the Empire. The United Earth Council agreed immediately. Martinez saw it as a great opportunity to build trust. The news team arrived 3 days later. They began sending daily reports about life on Earth. They showed human cities, farms, schools, and homes. They interviewed regular humans about their lives and beliefs. Most importantly, they showed many examples of humans being kind to animals. People playing with pet dogs, veterinarians caring for sick animals, wildlife rescuers helping injured birds. These images surprised many Zorthani, who had imagined humans as only cruel hunters. "The humans are complex," the lead reporter concluded in one broadcast. "They eat some animals but love others as companions. They can be both predators and protectors." By the end of the fourth week, something remarkable had happened. The Zorthani scientists, including Professor Larn, who had been most skeptical, submitted a formal report to their high command stating that humans were not the threat species they had feared. While their omnivorous nature remains concerning, the report stated, humans have developed ethical systems that prevent them from harming sentient species. Their social bonding through food sharing appears genuine, not a hunting tactic. Ambassador Grechthal scheduled a meeting with President Bennett to discuss a formal peace treaty. The road to friendship between the species had begun, all because of a misunderstood dinner invitation. 6 months after the Zorthani scientists visited Earth, life had changed dramatically for both species. The United Earth Council chamber was decorated with both human and Zorthani symbols as leaders from both sides gathered to sign the first official peace treaty. Ambassador Grechthal no longer wore protective gear when meeting with humans. He stood tall beside President Bennett, his 4 eyes calmly surveying the room filled with reporters from both civilizations. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic history," Bennett said to the cameras. "From a simple misunderstanding over a dinner invitation, we have built a bridge between our peoples." Grechthal's antennae moved in what humans now recognized as a gesture of agreement. "The Zorthani Empire acknowledges that our initial assessment of humans was incorrect. We offer friendship where once we saw only threat." Commander Wright watched from the side of the room, still amazed at how far they had come. Captain Foster stood beside her. "Did you ever think we'd get here?" Foster asked quietly. Wright shook her head. "Not after that first contact went so badly. It's still hard to believe that offering dinner nearly started an interstellar war." The peace treaty included several important agreements. First, humans would be allowed to continue expanding to new planets, but would notify the Zorthani of any new settlements. Second, a permanent cultural exchange office would be established on both Earth and the Zorthani homeworld. Third, trade routes would open between the species, focusing on plant products and technology. There was also a special clause about food practices. Humans agreed not to build large animal farming operations near Zorthani space or settlements. The Zorthani agreed to respect that humans were omnivores by biology, even if they found the practice disturbing. After the signing ceremony, A celebration was held in the garden outside the council building. Human and Zorthani chefs had prepared foods for each species, served at separate tables with clear labels. Dr. Zeal, now serving as the new Zorthani ambassador to Earth, approached Wright. "I have news that may interest you, Commander," he said. "The High Command has officially removed humans from the threat species list." Wright smiled. "That's wonderful news, Ambassador Zeal. I knew your reports would make a difference." "It was more than my reports," Zeal said. "It was the honesty of your people. You did not hide your nature as omnivores. You explained it and showed us that being omnivores does not make you dangerous to thinking beings." Director Martinez joined them, carrying a tablet with new data. "The cultural exchange program is exceeding all expectations," she told them. "We have over 500 Zorthani scientists who have applied to visit Earth, and nearly 1,000 humans wanting to visit Zorthani worlds. And the language classes are full," Dr. Peterson added as she walked up. "Humans are eager to learn Zorthani languages without relying on translators." Supreme Commander Voxhar had made perhaps the most surprising change. Once the strongest voice against humans, he had recently issued a formal apology for the destruction of the research outposts. During the first contact period, he had even suggested a joint human-Zorthani space exploration program to study distant parts of the galaxy together. "There is something I have been meaning to ask," Zeal said to Wright. "That first dinner demonstration, when you invited me to eat with you, were you nervous?" Wright laughed. "Terrified might be a better word. We knew that if anything went wrong, it could mean war between our peoples." "I was equally frightened," Zeal admitted. "My colleagues called me foolish for accepting the invitation. Some expected I would never return. And yet you came anyway," Wright said. "That took real courage." Zeal's antennae moved in a pattern that humans now recognized as their version of a smile. "Science requires bravery sometimes. We must test our theories even when it is scary." Across the garden, Chef Jackson was explaining Earth cooking methods to a group of fascinated Zorthani visitors. He had become something of a celebrity in the Zorthani Empire after his cooking demonstrations. He had even written a cookbook of human vegetarian recipes that could be safely prepared and eaten by Zorthani. "The most important progress," Martinez told Wright, "is happening in ordinary homes. Human families are hosting Zorthani visitors for garden tours and plant-based meals. Zorthani families are showing humans their art and music. Real friendships are forming." President Bennett called everyone's attention for a final announcement. "Today, I am pleased to announce the creation of the Galactic Gastronomy Program," she said. "This initiative will study the food practices of all intelligent species we encounter in the future, to ensure we never again let something as simple as different eating habits come between potential friends." The crowd applauded. Dr. Zeal had been named the co-director of the program alongside Chef Jackson. Later that evening, as the celebration wound down, Wright found herself standing alone with Dr. Zeal on a balcony overlooking the garden. "I never properly thanked you," she said. "Without your willingness to try something new, none of this would have happened." "In our history," Zeal replied, "the Zorthani have encountered only 3 omnivorous species, including humans. The first 2 were truly aggressive and territorial. We assumed all meat-eaters would be the same." "What happened with those species?" Wright asked. "We contained them to their home systems and avoided contact," Zeal said. "Now I wonder if that was a mistake. Perhaps they were not as dangerous as we thought. Perhaps, like humans, they simply needed to be understood. Will you try to contact them again?" Zeal's antennae moved thoughtfully. "Yes. The High Command has already approved a new diplomatic mission. We will bring human representatives with us to help bridge the gap as you did with us." Wright smiled. "From nearly going to war to becoming diplomatic partners, all because of a dinner invitation?" "Food brings people together, as you humans say," Zeal replied, "even when those people come from different worlds." 6 Zorthani battleships remained in space near the Neptune outpost, but now they were there for joint training exercises with human ships. The weapons that had once been aimed at human colonies were now pointed outward, ready to defend both species from any common threats they might face in the vastness of space. In the years that followed, humans and Zorthani worked together to map new star systems. They discovered other intelligent species, some like the Zorthani, some like humans, and some completely different from either. Each time they were careful to learn about cultural differences before making assumptions. The story of the dinner invitation incident became famous throughout known space. It was taught in schools on both human and Zorthani worlds as an example of how simple misunderstandings could lead to conflict, and how patience and openness could build peace. And every year on the anniversary of the peace treaty, humans and Zorthani gathered for a special celebration. They ate at separate tables but in the same room, honoring both their differences and their friendship. As Dr. Zeal often said in his speeches to new diplomats, "In our history, only predators invited others to dinner. We never imagined that sharing a meal could be an act of peace rather than aggression. Perhaps there is much more our species can learn from each other."